Have you ever wondered why certain classic cars don't just survive the passage of time, but actually become more beautiful, more valuable, and more irresistible with every decade? Today, we're taking a trip through a list that's going to stir up memories, nostalgia, and that deep, genuine passion for the automobiles that defined an era. We're talking about machines that age like fine wine, rolling works of art that shaped styles, technologies, and emotions from the 1940s all the way through the 1980s. If you love classic design, historic engineering, and those cars that feel like they were built to speak to the soul, then this video was made for you. Let's rediscover the classic cars that time didn't wear down. It perfected them. 1948, Porsche 356 Speedster. It's fascinating to think that, at the beginning, this car wasn't created to be a symbol of luxury or exclusivity. Almost the opposite, actually. Ferry Porsche wanted a lightweight, pure, stripped-down machine, something that would give the driver a sense of absolute control. That desire became the foundation of a design philosophy that unintentionally turned into a timeless masterpiece. Look at it today, and it's easy to imagine it gliding along coastal roads in a time when driving truly meant freedom. Its low silhouette, short windshield, and smooth, unbroken body lines were meant to cut through the air, but they also cut straight into something inside us, and they still do. No matter how many years have passed, its minimalist aesthetic still feels modern. In fact, many designers today admit they reference it when searching for visual purity. Its origin story also carries a special charm. The Speedster existed only because of the almost stubborn insistence of American importer Max Hoffman, who convinced Porsche that American buyers wanted a simple, affordable sports car, perfect for sunny weekend drives. That experiment ended up creating one of the most iconic sports cars on Earth. Maybe it's that blend of spontaneity and genius that gives the Speedster its lasting aura. One particularly interesting detail is that many celebrities of the 1950s and 60s didn't buy it to show off. They bought it because it made them feel connected to the road. Among them was James Dean, whose passion for this model helped cement its legend. Today, that story adds yet another layer of magnetism around the Speedster. As for its current value, it depends heavily on originality and condition, but a well-preserved Speedster easily exceeds $1 million today, and exceptional examples go for even higher figures at private auctions. 1955 Chevrolet Bel Air. By the mid-1950s, the United States was living through a period of prosperity, and the Bel Air was created to embody that national optimism. It was designed to be more than just a car. It was a visual declaration that the future would be bright, chrome-lined, and overflowing with style. And what style? The two-tone bodywork, the generous trim pieces, the imposing front grille, and all that chrome that seems to shine even under the faintest light make the Bel Air a true rolling work of art. It's no exaggeration to say this model became the face of the entire decade. What's interesting is that, at the time, Chevrolet had no idea this design would eventually become an eternal icon. The 55 Bel Air also marked a technical rebirth within Chevrolet. That was the year they introduced their legendary small block V8, an engine that would change American automotive history forever. It wasn't just powerful, it was smooth, reliable, and surprisingly accessible, transforming the Bel Air into a car anyone could enjoy without sacrificing performance. For many enthusiasts, driving a Bel Air was the first time they felt real power in their hands. And there's another reason why this car aged like fine wine. No matter how many decades pass, there's a childlike joy in simply looking at it. The vibrant colors, the inviting interiors, the generous curves. Everything about it delivers pure emotion. It awakens memories even in people who never lived through that era, but somehow still feel connected to it. That's its magic. Nostalgia sculpted in metal. Today, a 1955 Bel Air in excellent condition can cost anywhere from $70,000 to $150,000, and fully original or top-level restored examples can easily surpass that. 1967 Ford Mustang Fastback. Just one glance is enough to feel that mix of adrenaline and nostalgia that only true automotive icons can provoke. Its stretched silhouette, its perfectly sloped fastback roofline, and the way it balances rebellion with elegance turned it, from day one, into a universal symbol of freedom. If we go back to its origins, we find a country in the midst of cultural transformation. Film, music, counterculture, and a growing desire for independence were redefining youth identity. And the Mustang captured that spirit better than any other car. It was accessible, powerful, customizable, and above all, genuinely exciting. The Fastback, with its sharp profile and elegant predator stance, took that excitement to another level. It wasn't just a Mustang, it was the most passionate, sporty expression of the American dream on wheels. The 1967 model introduced a more muscular shape, a sturdier body, and mechanical options that turned the driving experience into a sensory event. The deep, resonant growl of the V8 is something many enthusiasts still describe as an unforgettable auditory memory. Another reason it aged like wine is that its design never tries to look modern. Its modernity, ironically, comes from its honesty. Nothing is unnecessary, and nothing needs explanation. It's pure intention turned into metal. That purity is what keeps it relevant, admired, and deeply desired decade after decade. In today's market, a 1967 Mustang Fastback can cost anywhere from $60,000 to over $200,000, depending on condition, originality, and engine choice. And even then, buyers rarely purchase it as an investment alone. They buy it for the visceral experience it delivers. And now, I want to ask you, especially if you lived through the Mustang's golden era, what memories does this model bring back for you? Did you ever see one up close, hear one roar, or even have the chance to drive one? Tell us in the comments. 1954 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing. This is one of those automobiles that seem to have been created not just to challenge engineering, but the limits of human imagination itself. All it takes is a single look at those doors, opening upward like wings unfolding in a theatrical gesture, to understand this car was never meant to blend in. It was engineered as a statement, a functional work of art, born at a time when the world was finally beginning to dream again, after years of turmoil. And maybe that's why its presence still sends a quiet shiver through anyone who stands before it. It feels almost too perfect to be real. What makes it even more fascinating is that the gullwing shape didn't come from an aesthetic whim. It was a technical necessity. Its tubular space frame was so advanced and so high along the sides that conventional doors simply couldn't exist. Mercedes turned a structural limitation into an iconic flourish, something only a handful of manufacturers in history have ever managed to do. That unintentional brilliance is part of its magic. It wasn't just beautiful, it was unavoidably beautiful. Its engine told a story of its own. A fuel-injected inline-six, technology that was practically futuristic in the 1950s. The precision, smoothness, and responsiveness of that engine made driving the 300 SL not just fast, but deeply elegant. Every acceleration felt like a sustained musical note, every gear change like a carefully orchestrated transition. And yet, the 300 SL wasn't a gentle car. It demanded respect, attention, and a driver who knew how to listen. Its current price reflects that aura. A well-preserved Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing easily exceeds $1.5 million, and immaculate examples routinely surpass $2 million at private auctions. 1949. Volkswagen Beetle Split Window. When you stand in front of a split-window Beetle, the first thing you feel isn't technical admiration or aesthetic shock. What you feel is tenderness, a warm simplicity that brings back memories of quieter times, peaceful roads, and an intimate connection with the act of driving. Its absolute simplicity doesn't limit it. In fact, that's exactly what makes it unforgettable. What's remarkable is that this model was born into a world trying to rebuild itself. Roads, industries, families, everything was searching for stability, and the Beetle arrived as a practical, economical, approachable solution. But its impact reached far beyond what Volkswagen expected. Those rounded lines, the compact rear engine, and that unmistakable chattering sound became a global identity. The split window, with its two tiny oval panes separated by a thin center bar, became a visual signature, now synonymous with rarity, authenticity, and serious collecting. Driving a 1949 Beetle is experiencing a kind of connection few cars can offer. It's not fast, it's not sophisticated, it doesn't try to impress, Its magic lies in the honesty of its behavior. Every vibration, every mechanical sound, every response feels personal. It's as if the car speaks to you in a simple, direct, unpretentious language. There are also historical details that elevate its significance. The split rear window wasn't a stylistic flourish. It was a structural solution to maintain body rigidity. Only in 1953 did Volkswagen finally adopt a single rear pane. That change instantly turned earlier models into highly sought-after collectibles. Today, a well-preserved split-window Beetle ranks among the rarest and most desirable in the entire lineage. In today's market, values range from $70,000 to well over $150,000 depending on condition. And yet, those who buy one aren't motivated by investment alone. 1959, Cadillac Eldorado by Ritz. In 1959, Cadillac wasn't trying to compete with anyone. It was setting the pace. And the Eldorado Ritz, the brand's most luxurious convertible, was the showcase where Cadillac displayed everything it knew how to do best. Sitting inside, one felt like stepping into a futuristic lounge. The dashboard looked like a command center. The wraparound seats offered almost theatrical comfort. And gliding down the road in something so long, so elegant, and so unapologetically bold felt, for many, like riding a red carpet on wheels. Its big displacement V8 reinforced that aura of absolute luxury. This wasn't a car meant for racing. It was meant for parading. Everything about it projected presence. It was the kind of vehicle that made it impossible to go unnoticed, even in an era that had fallen in love with visual excess. What's interesting is that, even at the time, many believed the Eldorado represented the peak of an aesthetic that would never return. And they were right. Those massive tail fins would never come back with that same audacity. That aesthetic combination could only have existed in the 1950s, which is why today it feels like a time capsule, one that somehow shines brighter with every passing decade. In today's market, a 1959 Cadillac Eldorado Ritz in excellent condition can easily exceed $250,000, and exceptionally restored or fully original examples can go far beyond that. And now, I want to speak directly to you, watching this video. Have you ever seen a 1959 Eldorado in person? Do you remember the first time you looked at those enormous tail fins or heard the gentle rumble of its V8? Share your story with us in the comments. 1962. Ferrari 250 GTO. When you look at it, you don't just feel admiration, you feel reverence. It's as if every curve, every inch of its bodywork, and every note from its engine tells a story written with passion, precision, and a kind of genius that very few cars in history have ever achieved. What makes it even more surprising is that the 250 GTO wasn't created as a symbol of wealth. It was built to race. It was a pure competition machine, engineered to dominate Europe's top circuits. Its Colombo-designed V12, tuned with almost artisanal mastery, produced a tone so vibrant and clean that many drivers claimed hearing it was enough to send chills down their spine. And when it came to performance, the formula was clear: lightweight, balanced, aggressive when it needed to be, and utterly obedient in the hands of those who understood it. The GTO won championships with the kind of natural ease only true legends possess. Another detail that amplifies its mythical aura is its extreme exclusivity. Only 36 units were ever built. Each one slightly different, each one tuned by hand, each one treated as a unique creation. This wasn't mass production, it was craftsmanship woven into competition. That uniqueness transformed the GTO into an object of absolute desire, not only for collectors, but for anyone who deeply loves automotive history. At private auctions, a Ferrari 250 GTO can surpass $50 million, and there have been whispers of even higher figures exchanged off the record. 1967, Toyota 2000 GT. Before it arrived, very few people outside Japan believed the country could produce a true sports car capable of standing alongside Europe's greatest icons. But then came this coupe, perfect lines, a low sculpted silhouette, proportions that looked almost hand-carved, and a futuristic aura that seemed not just ahead of its time, but ahead of the entire decade. It wasn't built to impress through excess. It was built to introduce a new automotive identity. And it did so with a quiet elegance. the kind of elegance that doesn't need to shout to be understood. What makes the 2000 GT especially fascinating is its origin. It was born from a collaboration between Toyota and Yamaha, whose craftsmanship and technical expertise elevated the project to another level. Together, they created a finely tuned inline-six engine with a deep melodic voice. Nothing like the aggressive European roar of the era, yet every bit as exciting. The lightweight chassis, near-perfect weight balance, and razor-sharp steering made driving it an experience that went far beyond simple performance numbers. Its design also carries a surprising twist. Many assume its flowing lines were inspired by Italian styling, but the truth is that the 2000 GT embodies a distinctly Japanese aesthetic. Its smooth curves, lack of visual excess, and harmonious proportions reflect artistic principles rooted in centuries of Japanese art and architecture. That identity is what sets it apart from every other sports car of its time. It doesn't try to look European, it tries to be perfect. And from the very first glance, it succeeds. Today, the Toyota 2000 GT is considered not only one of the most beautiful cars ever made, but also one of the most valuable vehicles ever produced in Japan. Its market price easily exceeds $1.2 million, depending on condition and provenance. But its true value goes beyond numbers. It represents the exact moment Japan stopped following and started creating legends. 1953 Chevrolet Corvette C1. When it first appeared, wrapped in the polo white paint that defined the first 300 units, the public didn't just see a sports car, they saw a promise. A declaration that America could create a machine with its own soul, capable of competing with European elegance without abandoning its identity. And the remarkable part is that, even after 7 decades, that first version still radiates a calm, almost poetic beauty that time simply hasn't been able to diminish. Its design, clean, organic, beautifully simple, felt like the perfect fusion of sophistication and approachability. The fiberglass body, revolutionary at the time, wasn't just a technical curiosity. It represented ambition. It allowed for smooth, fluid curves that made the Corvette feel sculptural, modern, and boldly different. It wasn't aggressive or exaggerated. It was elegant in a way that looked ahead to the future, yet still retained the warmth and charm that made Americans fall in love with it instantly. Under the hood, the Blue Flame inline-six wasn't the most powerful engine in the world, but it had its own distinct personality. What mattered wasn't top speed, it was the sensation. Driving that early Corvette felt like a mechanical conversation, an intimate connection that is nearly impossible to replicate today. A fascinating detail is that the first units were almost hand-built. Many components were fitted manually, each piece finding its place through the kind of dedication now seen only in exotic brands. This gives every 1953 Corvette a subtle variation, a fingerprint, making each car uniquely its own. Collectors don't chase the C1 just for rarity, they chase it for character. In today's market, a 1953 Corvette C1 can easily exceed $300,000, and fully original or impeccably restored examples can reach even higher figures. 1966 Lamborghini Miura. Before the Miura, sports cars were fast, of course, but they still carried a certain classic, almost gentlemanly dignity. Then the Miura arrived, low, wide, sensual, with that feline stare created by its signature eyelash-style headlight trim. And suddenly, everyone understood that the future had arrived. Its presence was so intense it felt like it could stop time. Even today, more than half a century later, it still delivers that electric jolt the moment you look at it head-on. Its origin story is almost as fascinating as its silhouette. 3 young Lamborghini engineers, working almost in secret behind the company's back, conceived a rear mid-engine chassis that completely broke with the conventions of the era. That boldness, that youthful rebellion, sparked the flame that would give birth to the world's first modern supercar. When Bertone was asked to clothe the chassis, Marcello Gandini created a shape so daring, so fluid, so impossibly beautiful, that many assumed it was just a concept that would never see production. But Lamborghini decided to take the leap, and in doing so, the brand redefined the meaning of the word supercar. The heart of the Miura was its transverse V12, a mechanical masterpiece that felt alive, almost as if it had a will of its own, Revving that engine wasn't simply hearing a roar, it was feeling a physical surge of energy, a wild, animal-like sound that made the air around it vibrate. A particularly charming detail is how quickly the Miura became a favorite among celebrities and aristocrats, not for showiness, but because it looked like something pulled straight out of a dream. When Frank Sinatra bought one, he famously said, "If you want to be somebody, drive a Chevrolet. But if you already are somebody, drive a Miura." That line made headlines everywhere and cemented the Miura's identity as a car reserved for those who sought more than speed, those who sought presence. Today, a Lamborghini Miura in excellent condition can easily surpass $2 million, and rare versions like the Miura SV command even higher prices. And with that, we reach the end of this journey through some of the classic cars that didn't just age gracefully, they aged into legends. Each one carries stories, emotions, and details that remind us why the automobiles of the past still touch us so deeply today. But now I want to hear from you. Yes, you, the one watching, remembering some special moment, some car from your childhood, or one you always dreamed of driving. Tell us in the comments which of these models moved you, surprised you, or which one you would add to this list. And before you go, let me invite you to something special. If you love classic cars full of style, don't miss our video on the most elegant cars of the 1940s. It's a true gem for anyone who appreciates historical design. Click now and continue this journey with us. See you there.